Okay, so welcome to the Wednesday Team Prosperity meeting. Every week we go through things that will hopefully help you immediately, bring benefits and bring positive changes to your business, what you're trying to do, your model. So today is May 19th. We're getting into those summer months. This is an excellent opportunity, really, when a lot of people will be, slowing down, vacationing, enjoying the lake, the beach, whatever, coming out of these restrictions. You work hard during the summer, it has an immediate impact. And then we roll into the fall, which is the best time for our type of business and a lot of other businesses. You won't be starting. You'll be getting into a nice cycle or rhythm at that time. We've got the home run derby going on right now, and it's pretty easy. The derby tournament is a home run for client sales or for new partners. Everything counts the same. Right now, Bob Gilmore's Babe Ruthing it on us. He's doubled up second place, or more than doubled up second place. So he's having a hot start. It ends in August 27th, I believe. Cash prize is up for grabs. I am always a firm believer and a big believer when it's time to get aggressive that you should. This is time to get aggressive in our industry, with our companies, with our models, with everything that you guys have going on. It's a great time to try to 10x this, get really aggressive and see what you can put up over a 6-month period of time. Last week, you guys, we talked about understanding opportunity in fintech, makeup of your digital business, what that looks like, making a personal connection to uncover the why. Remember, if you don't have a why, you can't go forward. And if you can't get a why, you might as well stop and start talking to somebody else. Implementing a funnel system for marketing purposes. Getting organized means getting profitable, and having a desire to dominate the market space. So that was last week. And then this week, we're going to talk about some front-end language, some back-end language, a little bit of partner language in between, but just helping you guys understand that some of the language that we can use funnels people into what we want them to do, which is next action steps, making decisions, etc. Remember, you guys, no matter what you're doing, if you're setting up something online, social media, whether it's marketing for partners, clients, doesn't matter what it is, you need to give it a nice 90 to 120-day run. That'll build the pipeline. That'll give you all the data you need to evaluate whether this is going to work going forward or whether it's not going to work. And then from that point, if it is going to work, you just continue to implement it. If it's not going to work, you kill it, start over, try something new, but make sure you give yourself and whatever you're trying to do enough time so you can make a data-driven decision over an emotional one. Another thing that came up this week, and we've been talking about this, if we're getting good at the sales process and we're providing value, it's being recognized, the people are excited, we need to make sure that we're asking for referrals. And you don't ask for a referral, you frame it with language like, okay, you've seen what the possibilities were for you in your situation and what's going to come out of this. Who else do you know and care about that needs to know this information? If you get, 5 referrals off of a sale and 2 of those sit for a GPS 1, and then 1 goes to a GPS 2 and closes, well, guess what? That's an extenuation of that original sale. And the cost of acquisition of that particular client was 0. Just because you did a good job with the person on the front end, they opened up their phone, their contact list, because they are interested in helping the people out that they most care about. So remember, when you've done a good job, don't just let that vine dry up, ask for referrals. Leads. So leads equal sales. Obviously, you guys know that. If you are on a lead program, generating your own leads, just remember there has to be enough leads, because a lot of times you'll hear somebody talking about this one sale that didn't go through or this one client. If you've got enough coming through the front door, you don't worry about individual specific situations. You've got enough to work. Yes, there's going to be no-shows. There's going to be people that don't see it, don't buy, whatever that might be. But what you build in the beginning and then over time creates a wave of these leads that are in different cycles of communication, and you'll have trickles of sales coming in from stuff that you did, before, on top of your new immediate sales. We want to position our product to sell to my most ideal customer or client. And that starts by understanding who that is. Who is that client that I want to work with, that I best work with, that I can get the best results? Identify the client, understand where to find them, get out there with a message where a decent percentage of those people raise their hand, start working with them. Remember, if we lead, which we do with education, it makes that front end conversation a lot easier because all you're trying to do is help. And then you need to pick your approach. Everybody's going to have a different approach based on personality, based on some other factors or variables. But once you kind of test a couple of approaches, find one that really works for you, that's your best approach. Continue to go down that path and understand that's going to get you the best possible end results, the best conversations, the best people coming through that top end of your funnel. When somebody asks what we do, you know, retirement, insurance, debt to wealth, all of these things, no one wants to hear that. You need to understand that when somebody asks what you do or that question comes up, you want to have that as an opportunity to continue that conversation. So when you say things like, I teach people how money works, that's going to garner at least some general interest or some additional questions from the other side. And that's really all you're looking to do in front-end conversations, is open that conversation and allow somebody to talk, get the information from them where you can introduce solutions to their problems and action steps. But if you on the front end tell people what you do in terms of the general financial language, no one's going to want to talk to you any further. No one's going to want to really hear anything, because immediately it goes up in their brain, this person's trying to sell me something. Always anticipate resistance on the front end. So people are naturally just accustomed to saying no before they really even know anything about it. That's their initial knee-jerk reaction. So your goal in the very beginning is to get that prospect talking about their goals, their problems, and what you're trying to do is sell that educational appointment, not the product or service. So what you're doing, leading with education, making sure people understand what we do, how we do it, most importantly, why we do it, so we can open that conversation and get them into those front-end educational appointments. So let's go through some things that I think will help you guys talking to people, because there's the power of possibility and there's the fear of missing out. Those two things combined together create emotional attachments to want to go further, want to get more information, want to take that next action step. So when you're sharing stuff with people, you're going to share stuff that makes them interested. So the biggest mistakes everyone's making, what successful people have that others don't, proven strategy that generates whatever it is they're looking to generate. What we do is we create exact strategies. And what that does, it takes people from a state of confusion to a state of confidence. And then ultimately what that does, it creates peace of mind and control for the future. So who wants peace of mind and control for the future? Most everybody. And a lot of people are in this camp. We take them to this camp. That's value, guys. Also, we have an easy design, creates exact answers, works with different situations based on proven results. These are some of that language that if you intertwine into your conversation, it helps with getting people booked on appointments. It helps with getting them show. It helps with all the conversion factors that we're talking about. There are two types of people, and you need to help people understand that they're going to fall into one of these two categories, or they already in one of these two categories. So number one, it's in the dark. This is most of the population. These people are ill-prepared, unready, surprised, and blindsided by several variables. These people worked harder and longer than their money did. So if they're in the dark, well, do they want to remain in the dark? Probably not, because the other side is the empowered. These are the people who have a clear vision and plan from data-driven decisions, having the knowledge and confidence to put the plan in place, knowing exactly what's going to happen. Remember, what we do in the smart technology we offer, based on math, code, banking principles, it's exact, guys. So that allows people to become empowered, which creates control, peace of mind. We're going to be a statistic. We don't want to be another sad statistic. So we teach people how to take control. And we've talked to countless people. And it became very clear that the empowered, which is where someone should want to be, they have two main and key things in place, while the in the dark, which is most everybody else, they have one, but usually neither. What are the two things? It's not that hard, guys. It's a predictable strategy that creates whatever we're trying to create for them, and then backed up by number two, a proven process that secures that strategy for the long run with a track record of success. This is important, guys, because people brush off. People fear money and they just kind of drift through life financially, and that's why they end up in the places they are. So sometimes what we have to understand and what we have to present in the marketplace is kind of like checking them to make sure they understand, hey, I understand it's easy to get distracted. Personal, professional commitments, everybody, we juggle a lot on a day-to-day basis. But however, until you're 100% responsible for 100% of your future, you're never going to be truly free and become the empowered. The empowered, they know, they control the situation. They know how much money and how much time. And when you have answers like that, it becomes very easy to start to map out a financial future that you actually want versus accepting the one that just comes down the road from not being in the empowered camp. So what we do, well, we lead with free education. We look at their situation in a detailed way that creates the answer or solution that gives them the confidence and control they're looking for. Once we get the solution, we can actually, for them personally, solve their puzzle, show them for free. From that point, it's up to them to take the next necessary action steps that we can actually help with. So what we do is we lead them, lead the horse to water, but ultimately it's going to be their decision. And when you preemptively come up with some of this language, helps them understand what their responsibilities are, what you're going to do, and how you guys are going to help each other. Command and control over the situation and money. People want that, you guys. You'll have an extremely important piece that moves you forward no matter what environment. Everything is not the same. You guys know that. Life is a roller coaster ride, up and down. The things that we do, it's not theoretical based on past performance. It's about where we want to go in the future and how we're going to get there. And along the way, if we make, some alternate turns, it can recalculate. You got to make sure that when you talk to people, don't be shy or afraid about helping them understand, hey, when we go through this process, I'm going to show you everything that you need to do, but you should be willing to understand the need to devise a plan of action to reach the expectations and the goals that we talk about. Truth is, and disqualification is very helpful, guys. I think a lot of times in a business where you're trying to bring in partners and all this stuff, you try to pre-qualify or qualify as many people to throw into that bucket as possible. Disqualify is a huge asset and a benefit for you on the front end. There's some people I just can't help. So that's going to show them automatically that this is not 100% of the people. We've got to go through a process to make sure, that we can help. If that's the case, I'm going to be 100% upfront, maybe suggest an alternative if appropriate. And then reinforce, I'm only looking for those who are a good fit, who I'm absolutely sure I can help get the results for. And then you need to outline what's going to happen. Frame the conversation. The first thing that we need to do is see two things. See if I can help you. See if I'm the best person to help you get the results you want. And then number two, see if you're ready to take the necessary action to generate the results for the strategy. So all of this language, guys, is just helping you formulate a funneling process where you're getting people to either drop out of the funnel at some point because they can't take the next action steps, or you're finding those people who want this, who are willing to take the next action steps, and you want to work with those people. Because ultimately, we are trying to create success stories. We're trying to help people get their money right. Whether we want to deal with money or we don't want to deal with money, we have to deal with money. It's a part of our lives. So we help, in that financial wellness category, that's what we help out with. People have to understand, we just talked about this, money is a part of life. Money is choices, money is a mental game. So by leading with education, we change mindsets. We open up mindsets to new ways of doing things instead of just accepting the same old plans that most everybody in this country is under. We help them disrupt, reorganize, save, years and thousands of dollars. But understand, money ultimately is about choices. People are going to make their choices. And sometimes by not making a choice or not having a plan of action, that is a choice and a plan, but it's ultimately going to lead to failure. Most people in this country are financially sick. You have a cure. So when you go out to the marketplace, you don't want to lead and think of yourself as a salesman, pitchman, recruiter, whatever it is. You want to think of yourself as an educator who's going to provide solutions to people's problems that are there and they're causing them major discomfort in their life. That comes from just not really understanding how money works. And people have the wrong mindset about money. And that's the first thing that we do is disrupt that mindset, educate, teach, and that will allow kind of a fork in the road. Do they want to continue going down this path they've been on that it's not going to lead them anywhere good, or they do want to take an alternate route? And like I said, that starts with understanding that most people have the wrong information about how money works. It's about intention and action. So whether you're dealing with a partner, whether you're dealing with a client, you're either going to step forward into growth or you're going to step backwards into safety. And for our clients and our partners, remember, it's stepping outside the comfort zone, doing something a little bit uncomfortable, knowing that's where the growth happens. And that combined with intention and action, that can lead to some magical things happening in our financial plan. It's like having a crystal ball, and we can tell people, from the smart technology we have, what we do on the front side, we could tell people, hey, if you continue down this road, this is where you're going to be. If you take an alternate route, this is where you could be. Which one do you want? Remember, at the end of the day, it's about making a decision about a path, not a product or a service. Money game meets technology. And this, I'm kind of going to branch off for a minute and make sure you guys understand, if we do such great things for the client, that affords an excellent business opportunity for potential partners. I want to, over the next 18, 24, 36 months, whatever it might be, build as many 6- and 7-figure offices as possible. That's my goal. I'm a builder. That's what I'm good at. That's where I put my intention. That's where I put my action. So for you guys, you want to master the upfront part of being on your own, doing the things on a daily basis. And then you want to teach other people. By building sales teams, you get to the distribution, you get to the passive income, but all that comes from you. You're going to start this. And remember, you guys, it's not going to come immediately. You don't just come into a business like this and start having passive or residual income, but you have to understand what you're building, the time, energy, effort on the front side. When you look at monthly residual income, it's like having X in the bank earning 5% interest. So understand, yes, the time investment you put on the front side, you may not get a big return on that, but what you're doing is you're building into many streams of income, including residual and passive, and you guys see what that means to you. If you're making 2, 3, 5 grand a month, what you would have to have in the bank to earn that type of monthly income. And like I said, everybody starts at the same place. Start at a bottom contract. You start basically by learning the business. So it's kind of like being a minor leaguer. Minor leaguers don't make any money. I mean, think about it. You're trying to get to the majors. You're making $12.50 a month as a minor leaguer. I mean, that's poverty wages right there. Why do they do that? Because they're trying to get to the major leagues to earn a minimum salary of $500,000. So understand, where you are right now is no indication of where you're going to be in the future. If you want the indication of where you're going to be in the future, look at your daily activity, look at your habits. When you guys are talking to partners, you've got a good business opportunity, but you don't want to bring the wrong people in and waste time. So when you're talking to people, it's, once again, it's about understanding where they are, what they want, how you fit in possibly, but also talking to them in an honest way. So if I could show you a button that could hit and make the conditions perfect for you to become successful in this business, would you press it? Money is important for everyone, you guys, all the time, especially now. That never changes. This is not some, here today, gone tomorrow industry or product or service. This is going to be around for a long time. We are expecting an extremely strong decade. And if you guys can get behind what we're trying to do, think about what you can build over the coming years. You have a chance. Your partners have a chance. No matter what's been happening with the pandemic, recession, anything that's happened in the past, you can reinvent yourself. You can reimagine yourself. You can relaunch yourself. You can grow your activity. You can max out this moment. Remember, dreams don't have recessions. Dreams don't have pandemics. People are out there. They're on the move. Learn how to talk to them and bring in the right people. Our education really is on 2 main areas, and this is important. So what do? We teach people how money works, and we teach people how to become entrepreneurs. With this crisis, people need both of those now more than ever. So understand what you're doing is needed. And understand that without us, without this education, without people going out there trying to help level the playing field, teach people how money works, people are struggling. 2019 alone, not knowing how to manage your personal finances cost Americans more than $307 billion. Imagine if that $300 billion went into retirement accounts, went into investments, went into assets. How better off would the American public be? Another thing that came up this week, and I think it's important, remember, compound interest works both ways. The rule of 72 works both ways. If you owe money on debts and you are, for example, let's say 24%, well, on that balance, that lender's money is doubling every 36 months. So once again, when you're teaching people how to build wealth, you also need to teach them on the other side, on the debt side, what exactly that's costing them and why it's so important to alleviate and get rid of that. Preemptively, you want to get in the habit of learning what are the normal concerns, objections, clarification, and then if you can go into there and preemptively overcome those, best defense is definitely a good offense. The objections, we talked about this a number of weeks ago. So today we talked about some of that front end language that will help funnel. We talked about the opportunity as a business in terms of helping potential partners understand where we are, where we're going, how they potentially fit in, and why this is such a great business opportunity. And want to close the meeting today revisiting some objections, because if you get good at the front end language, you also have to get good at the back end language, because at the end of the day, revenue and income, that's what's going to pay you. So actively listen to what your buyer wants. Remember, we're building a roadmap, but that roadmap leads them to a destination of their choosing. What do they want? Ask clarifying questions. Learn to communicate with people better. Educate the prospect on what they need. Don't oversell or just try to close the deal. Remember, in the GPS meetings, 80% of the sale is made in the first meeting when you don't even sell anything. So understand what you're doing and understand the process. Have a mutual conversation about how you can help them, and clarify again if you understand them correctly. Remember, if you show people how to get what they want, it's a lot easier to sell products and services. Don't answer unasked questions. And this is a thing that we really have to hone in on, because you're given a lot of information in these meetings. So if you go out and you start spouting out about stuff they didn't ask you, it's going to get real confusing for the other side, and you're just going to shut down. Pitching unwanted features and benefits, misaligning your solution to their plan, saying anything that creates unnecessary risk in the prospect's mind. You may think that you're trying to be helpful, but you're actually creating more unnecessary risk in the products and the potential client's brain. Too much information. Do not fall into that trap. We posted in the Facebook group this week, the video of the week, was Brian Tracy. And it talked about, the typical objections, whether they're unspoken, whether excuses, malicious, requests for more information, show off, subjective, personal, objective, factual, general sales resistance, and last ditch. So if you need to, you can go back and review that video. If you get good at handling objections, you start to, like I said, understand the typical objections, preemptively cover those, and then handle the personal ones for the person that you're talking to. Becomes very, very easy to understand the psychological makeup of what the potential client is really thinking about and what they're trying to understand. You got to handle sales objections like a professional. You got to stay calm, cool, collective, and you got to make sure that you expect those, because you want to welcome your prospects' objections. Objections are nothing more than buying questions. If that person on the other side is just silent, they're not saying anything, that's a bad sign. If they're asking questions, if they're throwing up objections, they're asking you to clarify stuff, that's all very good leading indicators. If you can handle yourself correctly and get these things taken care of, that is a sale. If you're finding yourself kind of like a dog chasing its tail in some of these, and you're addressing the concerns, you're clarifying, answering, whatever it might be, sometimes you have to revisit. If you feel like you're stuck, you come back and say, hey, what part of your concern do you feel that's still left unaddressed? It's the easiest way to keep the conversation going. And then once you have handled all the objections, there's nothing left, no real reason why that person shouldn't buy that product or service. Few people that you want to stay away with that will waste your time, that will give you no return on your time investment. The shopper, they never make decisions, you guys. They'll just talk to 85,000 people, get 85,000 quotes, and never, ever, ever make a decision. The snail, this person moves so slow that even if they make a decision, it's probably going to blow up anyway, because, you know, if they take so much time to make a decision, and they're probably going to change their mind, have buyer's remorse, even though they've gone ahead with that. So the snail, slow moving, you want to be in a fast paced environment, get rid of them. The hide and seeker, you know, they pop up on LinkedIn or they pop up on your email, requesting some information, asking a question, wanting to, you know, schedule a meeting 2 months down the road. Get rid of those people. This is not a game. We're not playing hide and seek. We're looking to help the people who want to help themselves. The stack deck, no matter what you do, you're going to lose. There's nothing you can say, nothing you can show, nothing you can offer that's going to win. If you're working with a stack deck, just understand how to read through that and move on. And find the criminal. That's just somebody who's using our products and services for something that's, you know, not on the up and up. So if somebody's looking to have criminal activity, are using this in a way that you think it should not be used, just get rid of them. Because at the end of the day, you want to create success stories, you want to create a brand, and you want to do that by surrounding yourself with good clients, good partners. Stay away from these people. So I'm trying to keep these to 30 minutes or less. So that's all we got for today. Go back and review some of this stuff, develop some of this language, and understand that if you get good at the front end, you get good at the back end, there's going to be a flow of activity that leads to outcomes. You're going to have some positive outcomes in there, revenue, income. And then from that point, once you get good on your own, just start building sales teams.